Wide receivers were a focal point in this past draft, and apparently we can expect more of the same in 2022. A look at Todd McShay's top wideouts, led by Ohio State's Garrett, Wilson and Olave. Another Big Ten standout with Jahan Dotson in the mix. Arkansas's Treylon Burks and USC's Drake London rounding out the top five. ESPN senior draft analyst Todd McShay joins us now. And Todd, let's look at this wide receiver class. What makes Wilson and Olave the top two?
Yeah, Wilson, to me, the first thing that jumps out on the tape is he's a burner. The way he accelerates off the line of scrimmage puts so much pressure on defensive backs. Now, his best trait in addition to that is his body control. He reminds me a lot of C.D. Lamb when he's coming out of Oklahoma. Even if he doesn't get separation with his route, the late separation that he creates with his body control, adjusting to the ball in the air, adjusting to throws that are outside his frame. That's why he's averaging 17 yards per catch this season. He's a big-time playmaker. Then Olave might not be quite as fast on tape, but I love the route running. He's so smooth as a route runner, knows where he needs to be versus zone coverage. And when you study his game, I mean, he's got speed as well. I mentioned burner with Wilson, but don't take away from the speed with Olave. He has 7 touchdown catches of 15-plus yards this season, which is tied for the most in all of college football. So you've got 2 speedsters coming out of Ohio State, and there's a chance that they're the 2 receivers that come off the board first in this year's class.
You know, it's been a year or two of the wideout, you have to say. I think, how does this year's class compare to the previous 2?
It's a tough question, Wendy, but I would say probably third. When you look at 2021, that group was outstanding. Jamar Chase is off to a record start for rookies in his production. After that, you've got Jalen Waddle coming out of Alabama, Devontae Smith, the other Alabama wide receiver. They're both NFL ready. Rashad Bateman and Rondale Moore coming a little bit later in the second round and very productive early on as rookies. Then you go to 2020, Jerry Jeudy, C.D. Lamb, Justin Jefferson, even Michael Pittman. I mean, this class was loaded with guys that were ready to play right away and have been good the last 2 years. But what I do like about this 2022 group is the depth. Behind guys like Wilson and Olave, you've got Jahan Dotson, who has elite body control and catches everything in his neighborhood coming out of Penn State. He to me is just a dynamic playmaker, even though he doesn't have that big size of some of these other receivers like a Treylon Burks from Arkansas. He's next on the list for me. 6'3", 225 pounds and physical. He does a great job on 50-50 balls, and he's going to break tackles after the catch. Then another big receiver, Drake London from USC. He had, unfortunately, the injury recently with his lower leg, they're calling it. Doesn't look as bad as initially suspected, which is great for London. But he was the best wide receiver in college football before that injury against Arizona. And he does it with that size, as I mentioned, and also the basketball background. This guy just knows how to use his 6'5" frame to block defenders out and go up and make plays. And he's actually really good after the catch for a guy who's kind of a long levered player at the wide receiver position. And then don't forget 2 more Alabama receivers. John Mechie came into the year as the star for Alabama. He's taken a back seat a little bit to Jamison Williams, who is an Ohio State transfer. He's a flat-out burner, and I think Williams could wind up going ahead of the more heralded Mechie coming into the season. Well, you got to watch this Williams guy. He is flying under the radar. I think he has a chance to maybe be the best receiver of this group when it's all said and done.
It's a factory in Tuscaloosa, Todd. You know that. They're just churning them out. There's plenty where that came from.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.